Swept and being the first playoff team eliminated last night as they beat the Lakers 115-96 to send the series back to LA for a game 5. All 5 Rockets starters scored 16 or more points. LeBron had one of his worst playoff games of recent memory, finishing with just 10 points on only 2 made field goals. LeBron also had 8 turnovers for the second straight game, joining Joel Embiid and Magic Johnson as the only players with 8 or more turnovers in consecutive playoff games in the last 45 years. So now, is there any concern for anyone on the Lakers blowing a 3-0 lead? Perk?
No, it's not. But I'm going to say this, Shay. Game 5 is a must-win for the Lakers. I know that much. They better get it done in Game 5, which I believe they will, because if it's prolonged past that, then we're going to be having a different conversation. But Game 5 on Wednesday is a must-win for Braun and the Los Angeles Lakers, because you don't want to have this series extended and all of a sudden Kevin Durant comes back and all of a sudden the Rockets and their confidence continue to grow, and all of a sudden we could be seeing something that we've never witnessed in the history of the NBA. So again, me knowing Braun, he's going to come with a level of focus. Those role players are going to play better at home, but they're in a must-win situation, Game 5. They better close it out in L.A.
I agree with you. They definitely need to. There's no doubt about it. I'm still waiting to see if KG is going to show up in this series. Definitely seeing that, but I have no doubt that LeBron James. I said KD. I said I'm still waiting to see if he's going to show up in the series, meaning Houston. But I have no doubt that LeBron James is going to show up. And I definitely think it's a must-win. I agree with Big Perk about that. Lakers can't afford to lose this game. Houston win 2 in a row. Things get very interesting going back to Houston for Game 6, no doubt.
Speaking of Kevin Durant, let's transition now to the Rocket side of things, where before the game, our Dave McMenamin reported that Amin Thompson had no idea how KD was feeling, which could imply that KD may have been doing his rehab away from the team, or perhaps the team hadn't been checking on him. Kevin Durant was not on the bench, if you remember, in Game 3 on Friday. He was on the bench last night, though, in Game 4. So now the question becomes, is Kevin Durant maybe disconnected from the Rockets? Perk, what do you think?
Hell yeah, it's a disconnect there. But then Amen Thompson defense, he's not supposed to know what's going on with Kevin Durant, because he's in the middle of the playoffs and he got to worry about winning a Game 4, right? But when you think about how up and down they've been all season long, when you think about the quote-unquote allegations of the burner account with Kevin Durant during All-Star Weekend that was being exposed, when you think about, Alfred Sengun and Kevin Durant not being able to be on the same page, it's things that have transpired throughout the course of this season that gives me reason to believe that this team is not on the same page. Okay, and when you look at a Game 3, an important Game 3, it ain't that much treatment in the damn world that you can't come sit your behind on the bench and be a leader and support your teammates throughout the time when you know you're in a must-win situation. I had a situation like this that happened with KG. KG used to sit in the back in 2008, 2009 when he was dealing with his knee injury. We in the middle of a heated series with the Chicago Bulls in the first round against Derrick Rose and Joakim Noah and them. And then Doc went in the back and he sent somebody in the back and told KG, I need you on the bench. I need you being an extension of me and rooting on your teammates. I need you to be a voice in the huddle. It is vital for a veteran, a 2-time NBA champion, Finals MVP, to be on the bench rooting and cheering and encouraging his young guys while he can't be on the floor to help them.
No disagreement there. We agree. But it's a little bit deeper than that for me. Big Perk, we all know how sensitive KD can be. We've all experienced it. You know what I'm saying? I have, you have, others. No doubt about it. Kevin Durant is one of the greatest players to have ever played the game of basketball. He is a champion 2 times over. He is a 2-time Finals MVP. He is one of the top 3 greatest scorers in the history of basketball. That's how gifted he is. And he's Olympic gold medalist and the whole bit. One of the most storied careers you will ever see. At some point in time, we need to talk about him like that. And you know how he would help? If he acted like he cared. When you bring up the fact that he's not on the bench for game 3, well, who's on the basketball court at age 41 in his 23rd year? Do you remember, Big Perk, that there was a time where there was a debate? Who's the greatest player in the game? Is it KD or is it LeBron? Years ago, we were having that discussion. Mm-hmm. And the reason why universally it was recognized as being LeBron is not because of skill. It's because of leadership. Because somehow, some way, whether he's hurt, he's not playing, or he is playing, you always see LeBron on that bench. Whether he's injured or not, he's always the marquee. And somehow, some way, in some fashion, he's answering the call, meaning the magnetic attention that is brought to him. He didn't shy away from it. He embraced it. And you're looking for something like that from KD because you want the comparisons to be validated and justified. There is no question that as a talent, KD's talent is comparable to anybody in the history of the game. He belongs in a conversation on the elite level of the Hall of Fame. There's no shade or disrespect that deserves to go his way in terms of his skill set. But on far too many occasions, when he's been sensitive and we've gotten on him for being sensitive, what were we attacking him about? It wasn't his game. It wasn't his skill set. It wasn't his commitment to greatness on the basketball court. We were talking about those intangibles that lend itself towards being the leader that he needs to be to galvanize inferior players that wear the same uniform as him to uplift them in the best possible fashion. We questioned that about him, and he got defensive about that in the past. It happened in Phoenix. It happened in OKC. Didn't happen in Golden State because it didn't need to because you had Steph Curry there, and that wasn't his role. It happened in Brooklyn, too. We've always had these questions. And so here we are. I've seen him on the court. I've seen him imploring guys to do better. I've seen him cheering them on. I've seen him doing the things that he's supposed to do. I'm not implying that he hasn't done that in Houston. I'm saying game 3, unfortunately, reminded others of what he hadn't done or wasn't perceived as doing for years and years and years throughout his career, which is what separates him from being in the conversation with the other dudes. Because ultimately, we have to look at your resume and we have to sit up there and say, outside of being in Golden State, where you were clearly the best player, but you were not necessarily the leader, that was Steph and Draymond. The fact of the matter is, everywhere else you've been, they've come up short. And since you've departed from Brooklyn years ago, what have you really, really done in Brooklyn, other than the time when Kyrie and James Harden, Kyrie was out, James Harden was playing hurt, and you almost beat Milwaukee? What have you done? We're looking at that and we're asking those questions because one of the greatest players we have ever seen is consistently home too damn early, and it doesn't seem to bother him nearly as much as we believe it should. Period.
So SA, sometimes I think I forget and the people forget that I shared 4.5 years in the locker room with Kevin Durant. Okay? And the reason that I call him out so much about being a leader is because I know he has it in him. I witnessed him do it. I watched him his MVP season when Russell Westbrook went out. I watched him elevate his game and elevate his leadership. I watched him empower Serge Ibaka when Serge Ibaka missed being an all-star by 1 vote. That year, I believe he was averaging 17, 18 points, a career high. I watched him up my offensive game from 5 points to about 10 to 11 points because Kevin Durant was running the point forward and getting his buckets and putting guys in position to be successful. So when I call him out, It's not because I'm picking on KD or that I got beef with KD. I got real, genuine love for Kevin Durant. My family has real, genuine love for Kevin Durant. But when I call him out, it's because I know he has it in him, but he has to want to do it. And at this point, you're talking about a guy that's, I believe, 37 years of age. I just don't believe he want to do it no more. And he took like 10 steps backwards when it comes from a leadership standpoint.
Shay, he could be a little bit sensitive at times, but KD's good people. And he's a superstar player. He's a really good dude. And he's doing a lot of great things for himself, his business, and all of that stuff off the court. We just know that no matter how great he has been and what he has done, we know he could be even greater at times. And we're looking for it. It's just that simple. He's going to be sensitive to it, and that's his right. But, you know, we ain't got nothing but respect for him because he's one of the all-time greats.
It's such a shame with this Rockets team. Such high expectations. You had the Fred VanVleet injury so early on, and then they were so heavily favored in this matchup. The unexpected injuries now to Kevin Durant.
That's organization. That's their fault.
100%.
They were supposed to go get a point guard. That's on them.
100%. But we thought they would cakewalk through the series, and it's completely flipped and is the exact